Good evening. I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. Ours, as I described, I think I described yesterday, was not that special. I didn't. It was just us. So can't see going through any kind of a big ordeal or anything like that. We had a couple of New York strip steaks in the freezer, so I thawed those out, and that's what we had. We had pardon me, steamed broccoli, New York strip steaks, and shells and cheese. That was our Thanksgiving dinner, and I was perfectly fine with it. Why? I'm not a fan of symbolism, and I say that all the time. And when I say that, I'm not somebody just saying it. I mean it. I'm not a fan of symbolism, and I would rather live my life and be thankful every day for my blessings than pick one day to fake it. I don't get that. That's just like 4th of July. I'd rather spend every day of my life being a defender of freedom and our Constitution than to spend one day faking it. And so it is what it is. You also have to take into effect my life is probably quite different than most of yours. So, and that's probably a fortunate thing for you. I don't have a close family. Never really had a close family. Not real close. We were kind of close at one time, and it went to hell in a handbasket in a hurry. And just hadn't been that close. So you kind of have to maybe take that a little bit into account when you try to understand my mindset. But it is what it is. I can't see making a big day. Again, if it would have been more people and all that, yeah, it would have been a bigger meal and all that. But it is what it is. Next year, I'm going to aim for this, but I don't know if I'm going to hit the target, and I'm not going to kill myself trying. But next year, my goal is to have a fried turkey. So I want to get one of the indoor electric fryers, because I actually had one of those before, and those are incredible. You don't have to stand out in the freezing cold, and you don't have to worry about getting a propane tank filled or anything like that. Right on your countertop. Anyway, trying to think. I did enjoy a little bit of flight sim time today. I realized later on, this is, I thought, kind of humorous. I realized later on, I don't know if there was some kind of protest going on today that I was unaware of, but there was a ton at JFK Airport. There was like at least seven commercial aircraft, big jetliners, parked across the runway on the main runway. And I have no idea what they were doing, but literally they were there for hours. And again, I don't know if there was some kind of a protest, but I didn't realize until later on that the simulator actually does model the sonic boom from a jet that breaks the sound barrier. And I didn't know that, and I couldn't tell you how many passes I took. I went past those folks, supersonic speeds. So every time I went past them, I'm sure it rattled their speakers. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. Other than that, not a whole lot. Just keeping up on news, and I'll tell you what, that is a challenge as of lately. There was by the time 7 o'clock came around, there were over 40 headlines for me to mull through. And then throughout the day, they just kind of kept coming and kept coming. And I'll tell you what, like I've been saying, things just simply are not getting better. Situations are getting more dire quickly. And I brought up a bunch of links like I have been doing because I think that's the best way. It keeps me focused so that I can explain to you some of the things that were concerning for me throughout the day. I kind of like doing it that way because I like to stay focused. I like to be able to provide useful content to you, not like the prior 10 minutes where I just rattled off about nothing. So anyway, let me go ahead and switch on over to the web view here. And let's see. Thought I did anyway. There we go. So, this is essentially the title for the show. I only have one article, I think, related to this stuff. Oh, no, two. Anyway, as you see the headlines say, this could finally be Sears and Kmart's last holiday shopping season. And I know there may be a lot of people like, who cares? But the problem is for every store, and when I say store, I mean location. I'm not talking about chain. I mean for every location that closes. That just makes Walmart and Amazon get that much bigger. Do you know of any companies that are competing with Walmart and Amazon? And when I say competing, I mean growing. I mean chains, massive chains that are just growing at an exponential rate so that they could be a true competitor to, say, Walmart. I don't. Not even remotely. All I'm seeing is every other company that we're aware of slowly withering away. And now we can add a couple of more to the list. And again, you may not be a fan of Sears or you may not be a fan of Kmart. We don't have a Kmart, right around here. And as I recall, Kmart's prices were generally just a tad higher, like Target. Generally, the prices were a tad higher. But we don't have one. Now, I would love there to be more variety. I would love there to be a Kmart and a Target along with a Walmart. Why? Because they carried different goods. And some of them carried, better goods in one area than the other. So you had a much wider variety of goods to choose from. It also would keep each other in check. Now, one of the ways that Walmart has become the dominating force in retail that they have is because of their bulk buying capability and, that changing into, there's a million reasons, but one of the big things is they buy companies and start producing the goods. They cut as much middleman out as entirely possible in order to make the profits that they want. And if you're not just absolutely cutthroat predatory in business, you're not going to compete with someone that is. And so that's where we're at. Free trade is all good and well, but there needs to be some rules. And there used to be rules. They were called anti-monopoly rules. But that's a thing of the past. And unfortunately, I don't see it getting any better. I don't know how it can. But anyway, let me Let me read a little bit here. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to probably read like maybe about here or so. Maybe here, I guess. Let's see. This Black Friday could very likely be the start of the final holiday shopping season. Pardon me, for Sears and Kmart, two brands that once proudly dominated the U.S. retail landscape. The two chains are only a shell of what they were when the holding company that owns both emerged from bankruptcy less than 3 years ago. At the time, the holding company, given the overly optimistic name Transform Co., still had 223 Sears and 202 Kmart stores nationwide. That was already down 87% from the 3,500 stores between the two brands when they merged together in 2005 to form Sears Holdings. But the percentage drop in stores since the company emerged from bankruptcy in February of 2019 has been even steeper. Today, there are only 21 full-line Sears stores left in the mainland United States and 2 more in Puerto Rico. According to the store locator on the Sears website, once recent closings are eliminated. Another 7 stores listed on the site are limited to selling appliances and in some cases mattresses rather than a full range of offerings that once was a hallmark of both chains. Let's see. And I'll read this one last one here. It says, and by the end of the year, there will only be 6 Kmarts left in the mainland United States, along with 6 more in Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Virgin Islands. And like I say, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. And I really honestly think that something needs to be done. What a lot of people don't realize is these companies, namely like Walmart, are allowed to build themselves so big and take on so much of the market. You know, on many items, they own it from raw materials to your shopping bag. And if I'm not mistaken, they invest in mining and stuff like that so that they can cut costs even more. It is insane. And hey, I'm all about being a good businessman or woman. I got no problems with that. But there's a point where it becomes predatory. And anybody that's allowed to run a monopoly has that ability, that capability to become predatory. It's way too much power. And unfortunately, companies like Walmart, companies like Amazon have been allowed to run amok. And we've also got another thing that is absolutely devastating the retail market right now. And it's not happening at Walmart. That's the crazy thing. It's not happening at Walmart that I know of. Anyway, not so much. It's happening at other stores. I saw a lot of pharmacies, like CVS and stuff like that, I think it is. I don't know if Walgreens is one getting hit too. But I've got an article here. And you've heard these stories. Organized retail crime wave traumatizing U.S. workers. So you've heard the side of it most likely where they've talked about that the fact that it's happening. But this goes into what's going on with the employees of these places. It says here, amid a surge in organized shoplifting, Best Buy CEO Corey Berry has said that the crime wave is traumatizing employees and making hiring and keeping staff difficult. The retailer is not the only outlet targeted by criminals. Organized shoplifting has increased dramatically over the last 2 years. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul warned in September. Raoul pointed to shocking figures from the retail industry. Theft investigations were up 86% at Home Depot, Shoplifting was up 30% at CVS, and Lowe's Home Improvement recorded $1.3 million in losses due to theft last year compared to $388,000 in 2019. Since Raoul sounded the alarm, shocking videos have emerged showing brazen thefts by organized gangs in the AG's own city of Chicago and as far afield as San Francisco, California. These are traumatic experiences, and they are happening more and more across the country, Best Buy CEO Corey Berry told CNBC on Tuesday after retailers' share price tumbled. Highlighting California as one of the several hotspots, Berry said that the unacceptable crime wave was harming her company's profits, making it difficult to hire and retain staff and traumatizing employees. Best Buy encourages employees not to confront shoplifters, with Berry telling CNBC that priority one is just human safety. However, this non-confrontational approach, coupled with law enforcement apparently prioritizing other kinds of crimes, Berry said, makes the problem hard to deal with. Speaking on an earnings call earlier this week, Berry said that Best Buy would lock up some of its merchandise and hire more security guards in certain locations. Best Buy employs more than 100,000 people in more than 1,000 stores and is the U.S. second largest consumer electronics retailer. However, its problems with organized shoplifting aren't unique. More than 36 other retailers and manufacturers that make up the Best Buy Buy Safe America coalition have pointed to a moderate to considerable increase in organized theft since before the COVID-19 pandemic. Since the onset of the pandemic, thefts have only increased, with loss prevention expert Tony Shepard telling CBS News that the rise in online shopping has given thieves access to more customers to fence their stolen merchandise to. Though their profits are generated online, the criminals pose a real-world threat to retail workers. Some 86% of retailers told Buy Safe America that a staff member had been threatened by a shoplifter, while 3/4 said that an employee had been physically assaulted. Organized retail crime is leading to more brazen and more violent attacks in retail stores throughout the country, Homeland Security Investigations Director Steve Francis said last week. Tackling this growing threat is important to the safety of store employees, customers, and communities across the country. Yeah, I've got some ideas on dealing with that, but I probably better not talk about it. So another thing, let's see. Gonna be discussing a lot about the tensions in between mainly like us and Russia, but aside from that, I did want to talk a little bit about the Waukesha attack, and again about how the media had abandoned it, and they almost act like it's not even happening. Well, let me go ahead and bring the article up here. Liberal actress, I can't even speak tonight. Liberal actress slams media coverage of Waukesha attack. So it's actually being noticed. I'll just read part of this here. It says, actress Deborah Messing, known as an outspoken liberal, has savaged the mainstream media for its coverage of the Waukesha Christmas Parade massacre. It was not an accident, she declared. It was a domestic terror attack. Dear mainstream media, Messing tweeted on Wednesday, a man intentionally drove his car through a parade, killing 6 and injuring 50 plus. It was not an accident. Call it by its name, she added, using the hashtag Waukesha Massacre and referring to the shocking vehicular rampage as a domestic terror attack. And then the rest goes in talking about the attack and the person himself. Then here it says, some media outlets in the U.S., however, have been reluctant to call the massacre an attack. The Washington Post referred to it as a tragedy caused by an SUV. ABC ABC News, the Associated Press, NPR, and Newsweek all called it a crash, while CNN dubbed it as a Christmas parade incident. Messing received praise from conservatives for going against the liberals' media narrative on the attack. Wait, what? I agree with Deborah Messing for the first time ever, comedian Tim Young tweeted. This is, again, this is just mind-blowing. And even Washington Post deleted a tweet. And let me go ahead and just read this. It says the Washington Post has revised an article and deleted the Twitter post promoting it after saying the last weekend's Christmas parade massacre in Waukesha, Wisconsin was caused by an SUV. The tweet was posted on Thursday with a caption reading, "Here's what we know so far in the sequence of events that led to the Waukesha tragedy caused by an SUV." The article linking to the message similarly blamed the vehicle for the massacre, which left 6 people dead and 61 people injured, saying the SUV rammed through the parade participants. The article didn't mention Darrell Brooks, who has been charged with 6 counts of murder after allegedly ramming his sport utility vehicle into parade goers, until the 5th paragraph. The Post continued to refer to the SUV's movements without referencing the person behind the wheel. With the mainstream media already being accused of trying to downplay the Waukesha mayhem and divert attention from Brooks' hatred of white people and Jews, the Post phrasing quickly sparked online outrage. U.S. Representative Ken Buck mockingly asked, Did the SUV drive itself? The headline is a disgrace. Anyway, it goes on to what others had said. This is just insane, but the good news is it's being called out by prominent people. And so maybe, just maybe, we can change the direction of this narrative a little bit. I'm actually starting to see that. I am actually starting to see that we as a collective are starting to force the media to bend and to stop reporting the BS. Now, they're still reporting BS, and they're still trying to, bring it home their way. We are certainly putting a hurdle in their path. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. If we can get them to a point to where they just give up. See, they got to have people to do it. They've got to have the flunkies. They got to have the soulless people to report their nonsense. And at some point when those people, and most of them will, not all, but most of them will reach a point to where they don't want to carry it on any longer. Not even for that paycheck. I think you're going to see it. We're not there yet. I know there are a few people quitting. But I think there'll be a mass exodus on media at some point. Let's see. Change up gears here. Let me have a drink. Oh, yeah. Got this one too. Don't use the racist word looting, experts in U.S. media warn. So now the word looting is racist. So remember that while you're looting your loot. So I guess the words riot and burn and anything else that describes what they want to do and get away with is going to be racist now. So we can't say it. We can't talk about it. We can't suggest it. I don't know about you, but I am done with their game. I am absolutely done with their game. I'm not even going to read the article because it's that stupid. Well, maybe the first couple of things. It says the latest string of smash and grab attacks on high-end stores in California should not be called looting, as that word would be racist, two criminal justice experts told the media and police. Yeah. Alright. So, shift on gears here. I've got quite a few headlines here involving tensions between countries. So let me have a sip of tea and a few vapes. We'll get started. And I got a number 2 up there, so I reckon I could get it tweeted out so it's there when we get there. I've got a extension that gives me a notification when there's a headline up there. Oops, I hope I sent that to the right place. Hang on. Sometimes I worry that I forget to change what group it goes to. And the first page that comes up, Facebook page that comes up, I certainly do not want to ship news off to. So it's not my page. Let's see. I'm sure her paint customers wouldn't appreciate my news. Okay. Alright. As you see the headline say, U.S. missile-armed warship heads into the Black Sea. Now, just in case you're not educated on that, and I'm not. Don't think I am educated when it comes to geography, because I suck. But I do know where the Black Sea is. So you've got a warship that's cruising along, and I guess it's gonna I assume it'll come through here, through the Aegean Sea or whatever, and then I reckon it'll come up on through here, through the Sea of Marmara, I reckon, and then I assume it'll come through by Istanbul, and then on into the Black Sea. I'm assuming. That's a lot of assumptions there, but I don't think they're gonna fly it, and I don't think they're gonna ship it by land. So that's the only way I see in there. But yeah, that's a whole lot of shipping. It's a whole lot of shipping to get in there. So it's definitely making a statement. That's my whole point of showing you where that is and what you have to go through to get there. Now, I don't know any other way they're going to, I don't know how they got into the Aegean Sea here, but that's how I'm sure they would get into the Black Sea. Anyway, enough of the geography lesson. See, an American Navy-guided missile destroyer, the USS Arleigh Burke, has been deployed to the Black Sea. The mission comes amid heightened NATO activities in the region, with 2 other U.S. warships recorded in the area last week. The deployment of the guided missile destroyer was announced by the U.S. Navy on Thursday. The mission is its first movement since it switched its home port to a naval base in Rota, Spain. USS Arleigh Burke began its northbound transit to the Black Sea to operate with our NATO allies and partners in the region, the Navy said in a statement. The warship was spotted passing through Turkey's Dardanelles Strait to the Sea of Marmara. See, it told us there. The USS Arleigh Burke deployment comes shortly after another U.S. guided missile destroyer, the USS Porter, and an amphibious command vessel, the USS Mount Whitney, left the Black Sea. The two vessels made several port calls across the region and operated alongside local NATO allies. The ramped-up NATO activities in the area have been repeatedly criticized by Moscow, which regards them as overtly hostile acts. Earlier this month, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov condemned the increasingly aggressive behavior of NATO towards Russia, noting an unusual amount of the bloc's naval vessels sailing in the region. And I don't know if you were paying attention or not, but, why the hell? We really ain't got no business. We really ain't got no business. There's nothing here that really we got no business with. So why the hell are we there? You always hear about Russian aggression and what Russia's doing and what Russia's doing and what Russia's doing. And now China too. But, that's a little more than a hop, skip, and a jump, and that's a few more than taking a couple of right turns in order to get your big-ass ship into the Black Sea. I'm just saying. We are certainly poking. Poland wants to move more NATO troops closer to Russia. It says right here, Poland's president, and I can't say that, Duda is his last name, or probably not right either, but has suggested NATO should expand its presence in Eastern Europe to defend friendly states outside the U.S.-led military bloc. Speaking with the organization's Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg on Thursday, Duda cited that the alleged recent relocation of Russian forces around the Ukrainian border. He said that the group should make its presence felt to a greater degree on its eastern flank to show all potential aggressors that NATO is ready. He went on to describe Kiev as an important external partner whose security is at stake. Stoltenberg echoed the Polish president's concerns over Ukraine and called on Russia to be transparent, reduce tensions, and de-escalate the situation. The NATO chief, however, stopped short of commenting on any military expansion near Russia's borders, adding that the foreign ministers of NATO member states will convene in Latvia next week to discuss the situation with their counterparts from Ukraine and Georgia, another country which the bloc is trying to pull into its orbit. On Sunday, the Kremlin dismissed reports in Western media about Moscow's alleged plans to invade Ukraine as artificially fomented hysteria. The Russian Foreign Ministry accused NATO of creating tensions along the country's western border. So, anyway, at the same time as all of that's going on, there's also a whole lot of political stuff going on that is certainly not going to help the matter at all. CIA's warning Russia now over the Havana Syndrome. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the Havana Syndrome. So I guess now, keeping along with the Russia rhetoric, now I guess that's Russia's fault. So this is what the article says. It says the head of America's CIA has warned Russia of consequences as if it is discovered to be involved in a series of incidents involving U.S. diplomats around the world, now dubbed Havana Syndrome, the Washington Post has reported. Citing its customary anonymous sources, the newspaper alleged that CIA Director William Burns brought the issue up earlier this month during meetings in Moscow with Nikolai Patrushev, Secretary of the Security Council, and Sergei Naryshkin, the Director of Foreign Intelligence Service. Havana Syndrome is an unexplained illness that has been reported by multiple U.S. government officials and military personnel stationed abroad. The symptoms include hearing loud noises, pain in the ears and cognitive difficulties. While the first case was detected in Cuba, others have been reported in many other countries around the world, including China and Germany. Burns has publicly described the incidents as attacks and suspects a foreign adversary as responsible. According to the Washington Post, Burns told Russian officials that inflicting serious brain damage on Americans was beyond the scope of what is permissible for a professional intelligence service. He did not, however, directly accuse Russia of being involved. This isn't the first suggestion that Moscow is behind Havana Syndrome. In August, Foreign Ministry Deputy Spokesman Alexander Bykentov denied any Russian link to the incidents after it was implicated in a story published in The New Yorker. We believe it to be low and morally wrong to initiate anti-Russian speculation by pointing at someone's bad health, Bykentov said. It's clear that the Western tabloids' love for conspiracy theories is unredactable. Or ineradicable? I don't know. Earlier this month, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov revealed that Burns spoke to Russian President Vladimir Putin, noting they discussed bilateral relations and engaged in an exchange of opinions on regional conflicts. Peskov did not mention Havana Syndrome. So you've got that going on, and then I've got a couple of more to deal with this, and this has to do with the Olympics. So, because obviously the United States is trying to use the Olympics as leverage as well. As it says here, U.S. waging campaign to disrupt Beijing Olympics, says Russian Foreign Ministry official. Says America is attempting to undermine the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing through political and information campaigns, according to the Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman. The United States constantly, on a regular basis, on far-fetched pretexts, is taking actions and organizing information and political campaigns aimed at undermining, disrupting, and complicating the holding of the Olympic Games in China, Maria Zakharova was quoted as saying at a Thursday press conference in Moscow. U.S. President Joe Biden confirmed earlier this month that he was considering a diplomatic boycott of the Beijing Games in protest at China's human rights track record. Russian officials have consistently said they are against politicizing sport, a stance Zakharova doubled down on. We have a principled position. We oppose a politicization of holding the Olympic Games anywhere, and, of course, this position applies to the Games in China, she said. Regarding the countries that are often targeted by U.S. actions, the Foreign Ministry spokeswoman added that it was evident that they were ones which didn't toe the American line. Apparently, these are the countries that do not obey the commands from Washington. Russia, by its own example, has undergone similar information campaigns, said Zakharova. It was reported earlier on Thursday that Australian officials were awaiting the decision by Biden on a potential U.S. boycott, and that they could possibly follow suit. The Beijing Games get underway on February 4th and run until February 20th. They will be followed by the Winter Paralympics in March. Okay? And pay attention to that, because there's a lot of people saying, oh, well, they might wait until after the Olympics to act up and really act a fool, and that may very well be true. I could definitely see that. However, this talked and mentioned Australia. Australia is absolutely in the mix here. And as you see, Australia considering Beijing Olympics diplomatic boycott, says reports. And just going to read a little bit of this here. It says Australia is considering a diplomatic boycott of the 2022 Winter Olympics in China, according to reports. The news comes after U.S. President Joe Biden said he was contemplating the step. Let's see. The Sydney Morning Herald reported on Thursday that the Australian federal government is being urged by politicians from the ruling Liberal National Coalition and opposition Labour Party to boycott the event in Beijing, which takes place in February. The Australian government is said to be waiting for a final decision from the Biden administration before making its own call on the issue. One option being considered would involve Australia not sending any officials to the event, but refraining from publicly calling it a boycott. Under a diplomatic boycott, athletes would still compete at the Games. A spokesperson for Sports Minister Richard Colbeck said a decision is yet to be made, Reuters reported. Were the U.S., Australia, and other allies to boycott the Beijing Games, they would do so in supposed protest at China's human rights record. And then it just goes on talking about that again. But, yeah, none of this is helping with the tensions. Not even remotely. Oh, man. I'm telling you. So anyway, got one more quick thing to cover here, and then we can get to headlines, and I can get the hell out of here for the week. I'm ready to relax a little. I figured maybe, possibly, I'll force myself to do some flying in the morning. So I have to force myself. I don't know why. I don't know what the problem is. Anyway, COVID strain worse than Delta found in 3 countries. That's what's being claimed here. It says scientists are sounding the alarm as what could be the most highly evolved strain of the coronavirus has been discovered in patients in different parts of the world. Its resistance to vaccines adds to the concerns. The latest known variant of COVID-19 has significant changes in its spikes, which could make it invincible to vaccination. It could be the most highly evolved coronavirus strain yet, as 32 mutations have apparently been detected in it. The currently dominant, highly transmissible Delta strain, which has contributed to this year's surge in cases globally, has at least 11 spike mutations. Originally spotted in 3 patients in Botswana, and thus known as the Botswana variant, it has already been found in 3 countries since the first infections on November 11th. 6 cases have been detected in South Africa, and 1 more was later registered in Hong Kong, according to British media. The Hong Kong patient recently traveled to China from South Africa, putting scientists on high alert, as the new variant could have spread anywhere through international travel. The patient is also said to be double vaccinated. News of the mutated strain known as B11529, and which could end up being named New, was shared by Tom Peacock, a virologist at London's Imperial College Department of Infectious Disease. Describing the Botswana variant spike profile as horrific, he tweeted that it could be worst antigenetically, I don't know how to say that. Antigenetically. Duh. No. There's no T there. Genically? Antigen. And that's supposed to be antigen, I believe. Antigenically. I think that's correct. Than nearly anything else about it. I can finish it right. Sorry. Warning that the new variant has very long branch length and really awful spike mutation profile, the virologist said it could be very much should be monitored. On the bright side, according to researchers, the high number of mutations could mean the variant is unstable, which might prevent it from becoming widespread. So far, COVID-19 has killed more than 5 million people globally, with over 259.5 million infected. Just what we need. Just what we need for Christmas is a new variant. Who the hell ordered that? Thanks, Gates. Anyway, let me have a couple of vapes. We'll do some headlines. And we'll bounce this joint. Go find some hookers and blow. And, I'm kidding. Kidding. We'll have the hookers and blow come here. No. I'm bored. Oh, man. Alright. Scooch back over here and do some headlines. Alright. World Trade Organization accused of vaccine apartheid. Nah. I don't believe it. A professor who seeks to destigmatize pedophilia resigns. Australia considering Beijing. Let's see. Oh, I already covered that one. Sorry. Russia and Saudi Arabia respond to U.S. oil move. Covered that one. Police put down mass protests sparked by plummeting currency. Fake news over Aussie Taliban cannabis deal sweeps global headlines. At least 11 dead in catastrophic mining accident. Eastern Europe may become microchip powerhouse. Salvation Army pays the price for turning woke. Black Friday on track to be truly Black Day for Amazon. Cryptocurrencies crashing in major hub amid looming ban. A veteran star fired from show over refusing the vaccine. How many years? 29 years. He was on the show General Hospital. 29 years. A new Interpol chief accused of torture. A law protecting religious people from cancel culture is in the works. EU country apologizes for forced sterilization. EU about to get even more reliant on Russia, says Polish PM. Food prices are about to soar. I'm pretty sure we knew that, but this article namely talks about the shortage of nitrogen fertilizers. FBI warns of high risk for online holiday shoppers. Soiled vaccination notice sparks probe. Police to investigate Netflix over LGBT movies and series. That's in Russia. A COVID strain worse than Delta found in 3 countries. I covered that, sorry. Ukraine on its knees in front of Russia, says XPM. EU regulator approves Pfizer vaccine for children aged 5 to 11. World's second largest population starts to shrink. I'm pretty sure the entire world population is going to really shrink really fast. Dog parachutes to be deployed to Army in 2022. Riots and I can't say looting anymore. Riots and looting over mandatory... Okay. Riots and mostly peaceful protesting over mandatory vaccine rule. How's that? White union members' votes devalued to appease minorities, as if that's not racist. U.S. waging campaign to... read that one. Broadway actor charged over Capitol riot. Time to consider mandatory jabs in Europe, a WHO official says. Let's see. Liberal actress slams media coverage of Waukesha attack. I covered that, actually. Bill Gates engaged in new experimental nuclear reactor. Aren't you all just happy about that? I mean, he just expands into more and more wonderful, beautiful things. He's buying up all kinds of farmland, and he's, doing all kinds of stuff in the medical field, and, well, hell, now he's just going to build nuclear reactors. Why not? Right? It's not like he's going to fly a big giant penis into space, right? Right? Who would do that? Oh, my my goodness. China Evergrande a step closer to default. I mean, NATO supplying Ukraine with banned weaponry, Russia alleges. Russian prison chief fired after torture allegations. Global supply crisis is here to stay and will make you pay more. Imprisoned Assange could get married by the new year. French hit with new set of COVID measures. U.S. ignoring client state hack attacks, Russia complains. Student stops world largest coal port with one click. Sex change hormone treatment injured Swedish children, says the media. Let's see. After another soccer player collapses on the field, a former pro and Sky News sports announcer calls for investigation. Yeah. Organized retail crime wave. Oh, covered that. Sorry. Grandmother, 103, has now defeated 2 pandemics after COVID-19 recovery. So she survived, obviously, COVID-19 and the Spanish flu. Museum falls for fake Frida Kahlo quote. I don't know if I said the name right. UK asylum claims soar to record high. UK cracks down on teen plastic surgery. Israel military pimped correctional officers to terrorists, says a prison chief. They were literally doing that, pimping their female correctional officers. They were putting them in compromising situations with these individuals. Situations to where these individuals could take advantage of these women in order to get secrets. And in order to... It's unbelievable. French fishermen to blockade their own ports in Brexit row. MP links rise in crime to women taking men's TV roles. Yeah. Some people are just completely delusional. Poland wants more NATO troops in Eastern Europe. We covered that. Covered that. Sputnik 5, best vaccine for preventing COVID-19 deaths, says a Hungarian study. EU to tighten travel rules and bar unvaxxed from the bloc. 52 people, including 6 rescuers, presumed dead in horror mine explosion, says the media. Kyle Rittenhouse supported a Democrat in 2020 presidential race. He actually apparently supported Andrew Yang. So, let's see, covered that. Czech president sent back to the hospital. We covered that. Cops tear gas women protesting violence. A fundraiser for Christmas parade massacre suspect is canceled. Let's see. Israel limits spy tech sales. U.S. lawmakers travel to Taiwan. And super mutant COVID strain triggers emergency response. That was one of the articles I just shared out a while ago. And it's that one that I was previously telling you about. So keep an eye on it, because... it is what it is. It is what it is. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up and get out of here for the week. And, supposed to, I believe, this weekend is supposed to get the heater. And I've got a can coming, just a small fuel can. And so my hope is I'll be able to get like a gallon of diesel or something. So that this weekend I can check it out and make sure it all works okay. And if I'm able to do so, I plan on I'll do a video of doing it. So I'll do a video of the first fire up. So when you look on YouTube, there's tons of videos out there on these heaters. But I would say about 95% of the time, you're either going to get a heavy UK accent or a heavy Australian accent. Because it seems like the people down under and the people across the pond are, for the most part, the only ones making videos on those things. So no big deal. But I figured for the first startup and stuff, I'll let you guys see what's going on. So anyway, I am gonna get out of here. I hope you all have a good evening and weekend. Keep a close eye on stuff. I don't think things are gonna slow down. So alrighty, talk to you soon. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit, and shalom.